Howdy, y'all. I am Adam, the Renaissance Nerd. We are now continuing with my informal Star Wars Expanded Universe book club. And we, as promised, shall discuss The Heart of the Jedi by Kenneth C. Flint. I just finished this last night. What we're going to do is we're going to go over the story briefly with some spoilers. There will be spoilers in this video. Then I'm going to discuss how I feel about it. And I got feelings about this. All right. What's happening in the heart of the Jedi? We are now chronologically a few weeks after the Truce at Baccarat. Our heroes are doing their best to try and bring an end to the war with the Empire, the Alliance. Now the New Republic has they've got the lead. The Empire is in disarray. You got warlords all over the place. They do some nice references to guys like the warlord Zinj, who we're going to come meet in the next book. Warlords are breaking off from the Empire, setting up their own domains. The Empire itself is in complete disarray. People are now learning that the Emperor is dead. And the Senate, the Imperial Senate, which was disbanded in the beginning of Star Wars A New Hope, has decided to bare its teeth again and rein in the military and say, we must have peace. Well, hot off a victory against part of the Imperial fleet, Han, Luke, and Leia are summoned back to the temporary base of the New Republic by Mon Mothma. Luke is feeling war-weary. Han and Leia their relationship is feeling a little bit strained by all the running around and everything. And now with the idea of a truce happening, Luke's starting to question his commitment. His commitment to putting his entire life into being a Jedi. He doesn't like the idea that the killing keeps going. It's straining against his beliefs as a Jedi, his defend and not attack mentality. So he decides to break off and go on a journey to go home. He goes back to Tatooine, little R&R, find his center. And while he's there, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Force Ghost Kenobi, visits him and says, Luke, I understand you're at a crossroads here. You need to find the heart of the Jedi. It will give you clarity. I went on a journey myself once to touch it, and it gave me a renewed purpose. If you do that, it will help you find your purpose. If you take this crystal bowl that I left for you here in my hut, it will tell you how to go, but you must do this alone, and you must not tell anybody. This is the journey of self-discovery, and you must accomplish it without aid. Luke accepts it, but old Ben's hut has been ransacked by Tusken Raiders, a.k.a. the Sand People. So Luke sets off into the Dune Sea to find the Sand People that stole Ben's glass bowl. Meanwhile, back at New Republic headquarters, Mon Mothma orders that Leia is now Ambassador Leia Organa, and she must head up the delegation to deal with the Imperial Senate. Everybody's kind of wondering, okay, can we trust this? Can we do that? Well, Han, being Han, says, okay, I got my smuggler idea. I got a cool, neat little place where we can go. But I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to tell me. Tell me, yeah. I'm the only one that's going to know it. And I'm going to tell Senator Valadane, who is in charge of the Imperial Senate. Meanwhile, the Imperial Senate is not without their own problems. High Admiral Tharkus, along with these creatures called the, what are they called again? The Dioscoroi arrive, and he is a hard-liner. He is a hard-line Imperial officer. He brooks no dissension. He thinks anybody who does not toe the line is a traitor. He has no love for the Emperor. He had no love for the Emperor. He thought the Emperor, with his force mumbo-jumbo, took the Empire in selfish directions. It must be an authoritarian, military-run thing. He is against the truce. So while he lets Valadane and the other senators go off to join the New Republic truce meeting, he sets in motion a plan to not only disrupt and destroy the meeting, but at the same time, he learns about Luke's mission to find the heart of the Jedi. So he sets off a two-pronged mission. Stop the meeting for the truce. Stop the meeting for the truce, and follow Luke to the heart of the Jedi and possibly steal the Force and use it for himself. I know it's a little weird. We're going to talk about that later. All right, so adventures ensue Han and Leia are joined by, what's this little dink's name? Sorry, I forgot it. Goen. They find Goen along with them, and he is this princeling that Han takes an instant dislike to because he's hitting on Leia. Meanwhile, 3PO gets hijacked by the Imperials and turned into a spy. Yeah, okay. Alright, so we have two diverging tracks. Luke is searching for the heart of the Jedi. He encounters Sand People. Through his adventures there, he gets back the bowl. He's on his way to Angorothea, the planet where the heart of the Jedi is. He has his own little run-ins as he gets there. At the same time, Han and Leia, with Goen and 3PO in tow, head to the secret meeting place that Han sets up with the Imperial senators. They end up getting attacked by Tharkis's group. All the senators except Valadane get wiped out. They escape on the Falcon. Meanwhile, everybody is now suddenly heading towards Angorothea, where the heart of the Jedi is, because now Luke he's on course there. He's got help from an Ewok and a salvage ship. I know, we're going to get to that. At the same time, Han and Leia discover that 3PO is a spy and that Tharkis is after Luke, so they now embark heading that way using Leia's nascent force abilities to trace Luke's path. They go to Tatooine first, and then they end up on track to Angorothea. And eventually, everybody ends up on Angorothea. There is a battle. Some twists and turns. Like, one thing I did not see coming. I had a feeling that it was sort of something like that was going to happen, but I didn't see the twist concerning Goen at the end there. And eventually, we get into the heart of the Jedi. Luke finds his center again. He chooses not to interact with it. And our heroes save the day. In the process, 3PO goes back to normal. All that kind of good stuff. You know, he has to go back to normal. We know what's happening. So everybody, our heroes save the day. This Imperial Tharkis is defeated in an interesting manner. You see it coming. I totally saw it coming. But it ends just kind of ends, and our heroes fly off in the Millennium Falcon to our next adventure. That's the gist of the story. Now, my likes and dislikes. Where do I start? Let's go with my like. We'll go with what I like. What I like is that it does have the spirit of a Star Wars adventure. The galaxy, you go to a couple of new places. You get a definite alien feel, a lot of alien interaction in this, a lot of non-humans running around this. Let's see what else. I like the idea of the Imperial Senate coming back around, harkening back to the Old Republic. A lot of references to others to Old Republic stuff in this, and it's understandable why. We'll talk about it at the end of the video there, why that happens, how it happened, considering this was written in 1992, 1993, before the prequels were happening and before any of that source material was available. What else do I like? I like Han in this story. For lack of a real focus, Han really is one of the central figures in this story. He really is one of the central figures in this story with his behavior and his influence about everything going on. Now, honestly, that's kind of what I liked about it. I dislike a lot more about this than I actually like, honestly. This is an at best average EU book. What don't I like? The biggest thing I don't like is how it's written. This story is like a freaking movie script. It's like a screenplay. The entire book is written like a screenplay. Never once are we inside anybody's head. Not once. In one chapter, it will flip back and forth between different people like it would in a movie, clipping back and forth. It will be with our heroes one second, and then you're with the Imperials another second. It's really discerning. It took me a good third of the book to get into it. Now, I will admit, let's go back. I will admit that once you're in the third act, it picks up. The pace is good. The pace is good as we're screaming towards our climax. But really, for 2/3 of it, it really drags. it drags a lot. Luke's adventures on Tatooine are frankly boring. I understand the idea to want to give us a more in-depth look at Tusken Raider society, and one of the rules for this was that Tusken Raiders were not to be unmasked. But honestly, I found it boring. It really wasn't. It really boring. It's going to lead into another problem I have with this. But overall, I'm breaking off here. It's all screaming together in my head. But my number one problem is the way it's written. I don't know if this is Kenneth C. Flint's style, or if this is because it never got an actual hard edit. But it can't be, because no one would write this. An editor would not rewrite the whole story to put in perspectives. So this whole screenplay style of writing, it was unpleasant to read. I did not enjoy reading that. Second, and this goes to what I'm talking about, which leads to a lot of the boring stuff. Everybody's a little out of character, if you ask me. Luke especially. We just came off Truce at Baccarat, where Luke is leveled up a little bit more in his Force abilities. And he got a taste of what it was like to maybe have an apprentice, and you see he's hungry to rebuild the Jedi Order. But now all of a sudden, a few weeks later, he's just massively war-weary, and he's doubting he wants to be a Jedi anymore. Not to mention, he is severely underpowered in this book. The opening scene where they're attacking the Star Destroyer and he's basically being a complete badass. After that, I feel like Luke's already shown Force aptitude is extremely diminished in this book. It's like he doesn't have... his telekinetic abilities are reduced. He has zero danger sense. Zero. The amount of times our enemies get the drop on Luke in this. And I understand it was to try and facilitate the shape-shifting Dioscuri that's trailing him the entire time to make it look like that he needed help. But Luke had to be massively diminished in his Force abilities to make some of this work, and it didn't sit well with me. There were at least 4 or 5 occasions, the Sand People, I know Luke, they write around it like with the Sand People, Luke says, I'm not going to use my Force abilities to do this, but first of all, that they got the drop on him in the first place is ridiculous. His Force danger sense, he would not have, I'm sorry, I feel like Luke would not have had they wouldn't have gotten the drop on him. And then, you know, when he's escaping Mos Eisley and the Stormtroopers, all that, again, he would have done better. He would have done better. Also, at the same time, with the Ewok, who turns out to be the Dioscuri Pollux, who's been trailing him the whole time. Again, I feel like Luke would have picked up on it. There's no dark side presence masking Jedi abilities anymore right now. Luke would have sensed something was off. I don't care how good a shapeshifter they are. His Force abilities would have sensed it. And at times when he's using his Force abilities, he's straining. He's not giving himself over to the Force. At the same time, I understand, as it's explained in the notes, that this story didn't have an exact place at the time. So the editor who's now got a hold of this, Joe Bongiorno, I think that's how you say it. He did his best to make corrections and small edits and put things in there, which is because of him how some Clone Wars stuff gets in here. But he did his best to try and see where it fit. But it feels the character actions have nothing to do with him. As he says, it is basically the same as it was when it was up for publication by Bantam and Star Wars. But I understand that several of these scenarios that Luke is put in were done because he had to be diminished to get put in them. So it doesn't gel well with me. At the same time, let's see, Han's almost on point, but I just feel like he's just ever so slightly off, especially him and Leia. Leia's completely out of character, if you ask me, in this book. Completely out of character. She's behaving like a bit of a bitch in the beginning. And then she levels out towards the end and becomes normal Leia again. But it's I feel like, again, trying to put her in the ambassadorial role shifted her character too much. And again, not being in her mind, not being in Han's mind, not being in Luke's mind, it was hard to feel like I was with the characters I know and love, because we don't know what they're thinking. We're just seeing a lot of description. That's part of this whole screenplay writing style. All we're getting is plain, boring description after plain, boring description. Nothing seemed smooth. Nothing seemed integrated to me. That also made the action... Well, the action was okay. But, again, Luke and his abilities, it felt like he was really diminished in a lot of the action scenes. It didn't feel right. One of the things that, for a minute, it felt was going to be cool is when Force Ghost Yoda appears. I didn't like that scene. I did not like the Force Ghost Yoda scene. I understand its purpose by the end to make Luke understand that he is being too reckless. He isn't thinking clearly. He's not stepping back and taking a look at the bigger picture. But it didn't feel like Yoda to me. It just didn't feel like Yoda. I thought it was going to be cool for a second because the Obi-Wan Force Ghost was fine. And then later at the end, the surprise Anakin Force Ghost. I dug that. That was cool. But the Force Ghost Yoda, just... Let's see. Oh, what I really didn't like. The Children of the Force. The space hippies. The Force space hippies. That was really stupid. I'm sorry. That was really dumb. I didn't like that. The space hippies. Oh, I know it was there to be a moment, and it was really just a plot piece to ram the Star Destroyer in the final scene there. But the whole idea of them, we've been running from war so bad, is this and that, and I can't believe it's still found. It's just the whole concept of it. It seemed so silly. It really seemed silly to me. And for just a couple, the chapter and a half it was there, just to introduce the dude Storm who's going to pilot the dome pedal ship into the Star Destroyer, all just to get that set up. That's basically what it was. All just to get that set up. And again, there's a lot of inorganic material in this book that just makes you feel disconnected from our heroes. The fact that I'm never in their heads, as I said, disconnects me. High Admiral Tharkus. He's lame. He's lame. Also, this is the first time I'm hearing the term High Admiral. I would think that you should just made him a Grand Admiral. I mean, yeah, I know the first Grand Admiral is supposed to be Thrawn. It's rarely done, but High Admiral Tharkus, his motivations are clear at first, but then because we're not in his head, his sudden flipped because he had discussions with his General Cantos about how suddenly he thinks he can control the Force, and we're going to get to that in a second. Suddenly he wants to control the Force. Because we're never in his head, it seems just that the whole transition to that way of thinking is just so flat. And then the idea that they're trying to peddle in here, and granted, it makes sense from the perspective of those like Tharkus who are not Force sensitive, who do not understand the Force, that just destroying the heart of the Jedi would destroy the Force. From their perspective, it's all right. But then something where Luke and Leia are buying into that there, and Luke knows better. Luke knows better that if the heart of the Jedi had been destroyed, the Force is still the Force. It's everywhere. That wouldn't have changed anything. So the whole concept of it, and also the concept of the heart of the Jedi itself, I thought it would just be a spiritual place where you would commune with the Force and feel something. But the fact that it's an actual physical object, that you touch it and it infuses you with the overwhelming impulse to be a master and help the Jedi, I don't like that. I don't like that. It implies a removal of free will. I don't like anything that maybe puts our heroes in a place where they don't have free will. So that bugged me, too. At the same time, I also would have liked to have seen a different planet than Angorothea. This is me being a real Star Wars nerd. I would have rather have seen it be Tython, the ancestral home of the Jedi. To me, it would have made a lot of sense. Now, I understand in the third act, the climax battle, it makes sense the way it's Angorothea and what's there with the temple and all that stuff. and the sea creatures, whatever they're called again. I understand that it fits for that, and that would not have worked on Tython, especially because Tython has been repeatedly attacked in the history of the Jedi. But I would have liked to have seen it be Tython. I think a little extra work would have made it, a little effort would have made it work. That's just me being a super Star Wars nerd.
All too easy.
So as you can see, as we come to the end of this book, I give it 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10. It wasn't, the read was, the story's okay, but the execution, the characters being sort of out of character, and some of the concepts and things put into this, it's just, it didn't sit well with me. It does not sit well with me, especially knowing where everything goes. I mean, that's part of it. I know where everything goes, but I have a lot to compare it to, I guess. Either way, I kind of see why this maybe got shelved. It is not on par with even the earliest stuff of the expanded universe. It's definitely not on par with Timothy Zahn's trilogy. So now we are moving on to our next book, one of my personal favorites. The Courtship of Princess Leia. I love this book. It is a love letter to fans of Han and Leia. You have a Luke, and it kind of makes sense now that if you put this into it now that this is included, Luke's increased fervor for restoring the Jedi makes good sense in this now. But this is just so much fun. I love this book. I love it. And I'm going to have a lot of fun rereading this. I think you're going to have a lot of fun reading it too. So what is it now? This currently is the week of August 6th, sorry. We're coming to the end. No, where are we? Sorry, yep, okay. Calendar moving on me. Okay, so coming up, end of the week, end of this first week, August. So next week, August 9th, 16th, I'm going to give you guys a couple of weeks. We're going to say the week of August 23rd, I will post my video talking about The Courtship of Princess Leia. I'll put up another warning video as well. I didn't do that for Heart of the Jedi because not anybody get their hands on it. But this is readily available. Give you time to get it. Get it in a physical form. Get it on digital. Get it in audio. However you want, just as long as you get your hands on it and just as long as you enjoy it. All right. We're done here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be appreciated. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where we keep discussing fun things like real Star Wars with the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Hit that notification button. I try to make a couple videos every day. If you enjoyed this, if you like what I'm preaching about Star Wars, then share my videos, spread my gospel. And comment away. Real comments are great. This is based upon interaction with you. I don't live stream this stuff yet. Hopefully I get to that point where I will. Until then, your comments are encouraged. And at the same time, this will be mirrored on the Geeks and Gamers forum where you can interact with me there and talk about the book as well. So, once again, thank you for watching this video. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. I still don't do Facebook. I still don't do Twitter. But there are ways to interact with me outside of YouTube. You can email me at therennerd@gmail.com. It's purely for this channel, so there's no chance I will miss any communication from you. You can also find me active at the Geeks and Gamers forums under the handle Roas. And I am on Parler now. Follow me at therennerd on Parler. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.